I'm going to show you how to mould some fish using a plastic mould. It's not a rubber mould, so it's not quite as easy to get them out of this one, but it works fine. And then I'm going to show you just what you can do to make them a little bit more interesting looking and a bit more natural. So I've just got a piece of fondant icing, not sugar florist paste, but like Regal Ice or Renshaw type fondant, quite soft. And then I've just got this little thing here which has got icing sugar in. You can use icing sugar or corn flour, otherwise known as cornstarch. I'm just going to use a brush, paintbrush, make sure it just gets everywhere. And I'm actually just going to tip that out. I don't want it to go in that area, it's a bit of a mess. So I'm just going to take some of the fondant and push it into the mould. So I'm going to get it to fill the mould right to the tail and the fins right to the front. So don't do this if you haven't either put fondant or if you haven't put icing sugar or corn flour or cornstarch in it first, because it will be really difficult to get out. Just get really stuck in there. So just shaping it to fit the mould. Now you can leave it in there to start to dry out, and that makes it a bit easier to get out, but because we're filming, we're going to just try and get it out now. So I'm just pushing the icing back from the mould to start easing it away, so I can see where the edge is. That will give us a bit of shape as well. And then you can actually start off by just trying to start pushing it away from this side. And then I'm just going to try gently easing it out with the knife. Doesn't matter how it looks at the back because you're not going to see this bit. One little fishy. Do the same with the other one. Okay, so we've got our fishes now. Normally we would wait until it had dried out to paint it, but as we're filming, we're just going to get stuck in. So what I've got here is I've got some luster, which is this stuff. You can get it in lots of different colours. It's kind of a pinky colour. And I've also got some of the super white, which I use for whitening icing if I'm using buttercream or cream cheese frosting and I want it to be white. What I've done is I've just actually mixed them with a little bit of water. They do dry out quite quickly, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water to the pink. Mix that up. And then I'm just going to start painting on it. So I'm going to start with this shell, which has dried out a bit, so I'm just going to paint the shell, follow the sort of shape of the shell, which has got lines. What kind of shell is it? What would you say? Clam?
Yes, it's exactly what
Happy as a clam. Happy as a clam shell. Okay, so, and then I'm going to do a similar sort of thing with the pink here on the shells. Just try and pick up a little bit of the scales. Being quite sort of imprecise about it. I'm actually going to paint the whole tail and fins with the pink. And actually I'm going to paint the face pink as well. This is nice and relaxing. Quite feels like you're being quite artistic here, quite creative. even if you think you're not creative, it's amazing how once you get stuck into doing something like this, really the effect is really good without actually having to do that much. So these have already got a lot of texture on them. You can also use these moulds, as my daughter does, for making chocolates to look like those very delicious praline Belgian chocolates that are very expensive, so you can do your own version with these. Be quite gentle, obviously, if you, like me, are working with the icing when the icing's very soft. I'm just going to do the tail on this one as well. I'm going to do a bit of the top and the sides as well, because you're going to see that on the cake. But don't worry, it doesn't need to be too precisely done. It's just the overall effect that you want, that you're going for. So just some little splodges. This one's a bit more pink than the last one, so you can vary them. Right, I'm just going to wash that brush out, and then I'm going to dip into the white, which has actually gone a little bit pink. But that's okay. Well, I'll start off with the clam, so just put a little bit of white highlights through it. Just kind of makes it, the whole thing start looking a bit more 3D, doesn't it? Do you think?
Yeah.
And then let's do some little bit of white. Oh, that's rather a large splodge. That's okay. We'll come back and counter that with a bit of gold. I'm just going to do quite a lot less white on this one. Okay, and then what I do want to do, actually, in fact I might even need a little bit more. So that's what the super white looks like. It's really really powdery. So I just want to do the eye with the white. If I can remember where the eye is. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over with a little bit of gold, my gold paintbrush. I mean, you can use as many different colours as you like. I think 3 should be enough to just get quite an interesting effect. Okay, and then just some little spots of gold. Oh, actually, yeah, why not just do literal spots on this one. It's very therapeutic doing this, it's really relaxing. And then just some little gold flecky bits. Okay, so then over here, being very careful because this is quite fragile. Okay, I'm just laying this on top of my blue wave design. So there's one there, and then another one here. Does that work?